All right, we've got YouTube. We are live.
Here's today's God Call with Reverend Bill.
When we say someone is driven, a lot of times that means that they have a passion, an intensity about them to take the steps that are necessary to push through, to accomplish, to succeed. It's an all-encompassing passion. On the other hand, if someone is driven, it could be that they're sitting in the back of a very nice car with a professional at the wheel paying attention to where they're going so that they can relax.
My family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not the age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am a light, I am light. I am divinity divine. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. I am light. I am a light. I am light.
I am light. All right, put a pin in that. We're going to come back to it. Thank you, Anna. And good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. We are here on Zoom again. Summer is that interesting season that just keeps to end forever. Like it ends on Labor Day weekend, and then it ends on the equinox, which is coming up on Thursday. And it's just like, and then there's the end of summer weather, which could be earlier or could be later. But we're grooving on the end of our summertime here. And let's use that as a reminder that it's all good. You guys know the rules about being on Zoom. Keep your mic muted, except when we're going to be sharing or joining together in a a glorious racket, like right now. Go ahead and unmute so that you can repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself to love.
I am light. I am light. I am light.
I am light. I am light. I am light.
I am light.
I know good is surrounding me right here and right now.
I know good is surrounding me right here and right now.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Okay, thumbs on those mute buttons one more time as I remind you that New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their empowering, their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. Whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you to our Zoom today, wherever you're heading next, we have been expecting you. Welcome home. We believe there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us. And that we're each using that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. The way we like to say it is your new life begins with a new thought. If you have any extra electronic devices which are not directly connecting you to this celebration today, please put them on shush so we can turn our attention inwards for the next hour. I want to welcome everybody who's on Zoom. And also there's a bunch of people who I'm aware of who like to watch on the live stream on YouTube, either live or with the recording. I'm not sure if that's because they want to play it faster or skip over the parts that they think aren't going to be good. But, there's a rich, wonderful experience here. And everybody has their own thing. And just a quick reminder that the talk is also posted on New Thought Media Network on Sundays as part of their Super Sunday, whatever it is. So it's going to be on their YouTube and Facebook this afternoon. New Thought Philly queues up at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Get to translate in our heads because the network is based in Mountain Time. That's as much technical detail as you guys need to know for now. I am Bill Marcioni, the spiritual director at New Thought Philadelphia. Our music today is Anna Varsniak, who is joining us just returned from holiday. She's in London. Our guest speaker today is Reverend Sonja Mathis. She's in Alabama. We're all over the place today. And our practitioners for the celebration today are Breen Rourke, RSCP, right here in Wynwood, Pennsylvania, and Jesus Baez, also in Philly, who is going to open us, Jesus Baez, RSCP, who is going to open us in a prayer, which is the way that we open everything. Jesus.
Thank you, Rev. Thank you. Yes, we're all over the place. Let's get into the one place, the one here and right now. I invite you to shut your eyes from the outer and come to the inner, where the presence dwells inside of each one of us. Don't let the outer, the peacefulness, the joy of the inner. So as we come here right now together in unity with the one presence, one God, one infinite intelligence that's here right now, saturating this Zoom celebration with enthusiasm, with joy, peace, wisdom, power, love, freedom, unity, here and right now, with gratitude in my heart. I speak these words from the divine. Let your light shine. We are the light of the world. A city hidden, it cannot be hid if it's in the mountaintop. Let that light shine from each one of us and glorify the Father within, the one presence where everything comes from. Even the celebration, even us, we are created in the image and likeness of God. That image and likeness is joy, love. Let that love flourish from each one of us. Touch somebody today, because we are that tree planted by the rivers of water that give us fruit in the season, and the leaves should not wither, and whatever we say and touch shall prosper. And together in this celebration, with the music, with the talk, with the reading, with the meditation, with the announcement, with the flames of faith, that faith that we have in the divine. If we have that faith like a mustard seed, put it in the divine and water it with love, fertilize it with joy, for you can see your plant and your fruits, and you can eat from the fruits of the vine here today and every day. And with gratitude in my heart, I speak these words from God, and I let it go to the creative mind that always say yes. And once again, it says yes. So it is. Amen. Thank you.
So it is, amen. I think we can go home now. Oh, it's great. Thank you, Jesus.
Oh,
The reason we do a prayer is because it actually changes something. And I had a prayer work story. I was thinking about telling it last week. I don't know if I did. And some of you have heard it anyway. It's the most recent green Volkswagen story. Did I tell that last Sunday? All right. So one of the things that we talk about is praying for things that are inconsequential. And one of the examples is you pray to see green Volkswagens, because there are green Volkswagens, but they're not that common. And once you do the prayer to see green Volkswagens, they tend to show up around you. And it works with other things, like if there's a particular kind of car that you're interested in, or if you're paying attention to the pregnant women, you start to see a lot of pregnant women. And it's probably not that you're creating pregnant women, it's just that it's activating the law of attraction and you're starting to see more of them. So in one of the episodes of the Practical Prayer podcast, Carol and I were talking about this very simple process of proving that prayer works by praying for green Volkswagens. And this was an episode like almost 2 years ago. And I got a new prayer client who found me through Insight Timer and then listened to the podcast and like triangulated in on me. And we did an hour together. And she told me the story that she has an RV. And they have this little wind barrier that goes around the RV because she's in Wales. And apparently that's an important thing. And her daughter had gotten her a new one, and she kind of threw it in the back of the RV and she went on her trip. And then she listened to this podcast episode, and a day or two later, she set up the wind barrier, and the design on the wind barrier was green Volkswagens. And there were dozens of them there. She had no idea. I love when those sorts of things show up. Anybody else have a prayer work story that you would like to share? Wave your hand or raise or whatever. Was that your hand going up, Hannah? Okay. I had another one that didn't come out the way that I thought it was going to. So we were watching our grand dog, and her collar came up missing. And there was consternation. Was it at our house? Is it in our living room? Is it in our backyard? Is it at her house? Like, what had happened to it? We started triangulating in on this. And I finally, after a couple of days, said, all right, I'm going to take this into prayer. And it was the perfect events unfolded so that the location of the collar was revealed. And I was confident in my mind that it was over my daughter's house. And yesterday when I was cutting the lawn, there I found it buried in the grass way down deep where nobody ever would have seen it, except that I was standing right on top of it. So I'm patting myself on the back because I completely let go of my attachment to having thought that it was in some place. Oh, okay. The divine is working in mysterious ways. I wonder what that's about. Breen?
Yes, I just remember that I've got one. So been having a challenging situation at work, dealing with some interesting personalities and dynamics, and I've been praying about it regularly. I went up to Connecticut last week to meet with some people in person, and actually spent some time in prayer before a meeting that the meeting was going to go awesome, and the meeting went okay. But after the meeting, I had a meeting with my senior director, and yesterday he called me and wants me to take me out of that work stream and put me into another work stream where he thinks that he really needs my experience and expertise to do this other thing. And I'm like, okay, sure.
So we're all going to play the home game now. So if you have your kazoo at hand, we are going to introduce Sandy with the announcements.
This shimmering information is on our website at newthoughtphilly.org and in our weekly e-newsletter. Please sign up on the website so we can keep in touch. We host a 15-minute meditation on Zoom twice every day. They're inspiring, fun, and quick. Everyone's welcome. Episode 119 of Reverend Bill's Practical Prayer Podcast is Chakras. Get it where you get your podcasts. Watch the live recording on New Thought Media Network on Monday at 1 p.m. Follow our social media on Instagram, Facebook, Insight Timer, and YouTube, and join the 1,637 spiritual adventurers in our group on meetup.com. The Power of Eight Intention Circle meets on Zoom every Monday at 6:30 p.m. The Women's Circle meets on Zoom on the first Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. The 90-day tithing challenge begins on October 1st and includes a guarantee that this powerful spiritual practice will transform your life or you get your money back. We'll have a short Q&A after the celebration and a dialogue about prosperity principles on Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. on Zoom.
And that'll be on the same Zoom meeting that we're in now. And everybody is welcome. You don't have to commit to being in the tithing challenge. And basically, the 90-day tithing challenge guarantee means that the tithe that you give to New Thought Philadelphia, if you don't have transformation that happens in your life, then you just ask and we'll give you the money back. Because the idea of the tithing practice is that it's a personal prosperity practice rather than a way of supporting a particular organization. Now, of course, side effect, we're happy to be supported by the tithes, but that's not the point. So we're doing a Q&A session today, and we're going to do a longer one where we talk about the principles behind that on Tuesday afternoon. So I encourage you, if you're even thinking a little bit about this and want to dip your toe just a little bit, to stick around after the celebration or join us on Tuesday. Sandy?
Okay. And now for the other Marcioni, Dina Marcioni, who's leading the Artist's Way Creativity Group on Sunday evenings beginning October 1st. It's open to all. It's open to all.
And Dina was going to say something.
Dina, you want to say something?
You need to unmute.
Get that technology right. So I guess what I want to say about it is people, when they hear the Artist's Way, immediately think that they need to be an artist. And I think it's important that people realize it doesn't matter what you do, because our thought is creative. And, you know, either maybe we want to unearth something that we've always hoped would come up for us. Oh, I'd like to be a singer, a musician, or an actor. Or maybe it's just looking at life more creatively and with more freedom and with more expression. And sometimes we can't do that until we kind of unearth the pieces that are in our way, our blocks. And that's what this process is about. So it's for everybody. And it is deep work. I'm not gonna kid you there, but yeah, I would love to see you guys. It's gonna be fun.
I just registered and I hope other people will too. We are grateful for your tax-deductible donations by Zelle, Cash App, check, PayPal, Venmo, credit, or debit card. Thank you to the team that makes our Zoom celebration work and has fun doing it. And please contact me if you're interested in being a presenter. Next Sunday is How's Your Cup Runneth Ing. Reverend Bill explores the saying that you can't pour from an empty cup. and how we can partner with Spirit so that our cup runneth over. Join Reverend Bill at the annual Anton Retreat at Unity Village near Kansas City the first week in October. It'll be a wonderful experience, and early registration is still available. Reverend Bill and the practitioners are available for professional sessions by appointment. After the celebration, Jesus is available for a quick miracle in a minute prayer, and we'll leave the Zoom meeting open for a discussion of prosperity, tithing, and the challenge after the celebration.
Thank you, Sandy. So this is a time when we welcome our new visitors, our first-time visitors, and our repeat visitors. And Reverend Sonja Mathis is actually here for the second time, so you're not a newbie anymore. But we've got a great blessing, and just joining the meeting now. In fact, just in the process of connecting to audio now is Claudia Vanderpool, who we have not seen in many, many months. Another prayer work story as far as I'm concerned. So Claudia, it is wonderful to see you. So let us send out a blessing to everyone who is here and all of those bright lights who we are connected with. So rub your hands together, feel some love. Send that love out. We are all that bright light of God's love. I am so grateful for the way that love is shining. That light is present in and through and as each of us and all of us. And so it is. So as Anna does another song for us, let's go ahead and switch to gallery view, or the individual view, so you can make eye contact with the people we're in community with and feel that connection, that love, that light that binds us.
Sometimes in our lives we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can feel those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on, and I might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. And I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on, and I might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Somebody to lean on.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Anna. And now, zooming all the way into Philadelphia and 23rd and Walnut Street, Dana Edelman is going to lead us in the flames of faith.
Right. We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from one power, love, intelligence, which we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. The reading today comes from Anton's New Thoughts for Today book, which is a compilation of readings by members of the affiliated New Thought Network. This one comes from Reverend Gabe Beauregard, who's the treasurer of Anton and also the senior minister at the Alpine Church of Religious Science, which is in Alpine, California, the hills above San Diego. Reading that for us is going to be Hannah.
Finding, not seeking. As soon as you trust yourself, you will know how to live. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. There have been many books and queries into seeking God. We say God is love, God is peace, God is wholeness and harmony, God is infinite, God is the Alpha and the Omega. Whatever words are used to describe God are all inadequate, for we cannot reduce God down to a human concept or idea. And so we go from teacher to teacher, be it the mystics such as Jesus, Buddha, or poets, or the writings of Aristotle or Emerson. The list is endless. We pride ourselves as being seekers on the spiritual path. Much like riding a carousel and trying to grab the brass ring as we go by, we primarily come up empty-handed. We come up empty in our searching for the one true source, substance, and meaning to life. Feelings of emptiness and longing drive many to seek solace in human events and activities. But what we are looking for, we are looking with. God cannot be found in books. God cannot be found in what others espouse. The great secret and great mystery was handed down to us plainly and clearly. I am that I am. Before Abraham was, I am. I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. The way to find God is to go within and discover the great I am. I now realize and accept that the God of my being is within me, hidden in plain view. I no longer seek, but find and allow the great I am to live fully as me.
There was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far, over land and sea. A little shy and sad of eye. one day, one magic day, he came my way. And as we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing just to love and be loved in return. There was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far, over land and sea. A little shy and said of I, but very wise was he. And then one day, one magic day, he came my way. And as we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing that you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return, in return. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. It is such a delight to have this guest speaker with us today. One of the things that I have noticed over the course of the last few years is that people who start in one part of the New Thought teaching think that that's the only one and that all the other parts of the New Thought teaching are different. And those are things like the Centers for Spiritual Living or the Unity churches or Hillside Chapel or Agape. And our guest speaker today is somebody who started out in the Hillside Chapel with Barbara King in Atlanta, and then the Center for Spiritual Living with Kennedy Schultz in Atlanta, and is now a Unity minister. And so she's kind of got it all going on. She's part of the affiliated New Thought Network, yoga teacher, and a friend of mine. Please welcome Reverend Sonja Mathis.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you all. Thank you, Reverend Bill, for that wonderful introduction, and so appropriate. Yes, we often think where we start is the only place to be, and it can be quite a revelation when we understand that there's so much more, and we have access to all of it. As Bill said, I'm putting my timer on, because although I'm New Thought now, I was raised Baptist, and those ways would creep up on me, and somebody will be trying to figure out how to cut my mic off and cut my screen off so everybody can go home. So, but anyway, so we're going to have a good time today. As Bill put in the writing, we're going to talk a little bit about spiritual vision. And Hannah actually gave a good segue. She talked about Emerson. I'm going to talk a little bit about Ralph Waldo Emerson. He liked to be called Waldo, so that's what we're going to call him. We're going to call him Waldo. But something else I want to add, and where I developed my love for Emerson, was I actually just graduated in June from Holmes School of Spiritual Institute Consciousness of Spiritual Studies. Consciousness studies. Now I don't even know which one it is. But so I finished Unity Masters of Divinity in 22, and in 23 I did Home. So I developed a love for the pre-Socratic Greek philosophers and Emerson. So we're going to touch on that today. But just to begin with a story about spiritual vision, I had to go in for my annual eye exam. And I just changed. I work for a military contractor. I'm a financial counselor. And so we're changing contractors. And so I had to finish using all my benefits for the old contractor so I could move into the new one. And so I needed an eye exam. And I was visiting my mother in Atlanta. And I realized my date was coming. So I said, let me just pick a new provider in the Atlanta area. So I go to the new provider. And long story short, he decides that the place I've been going in Birmingham is my prescription's too strong and that I don't need all that power to see. And so I was like, interesting. So he gave me a contact lens to put on and to try it out. And it was fine. The contact lens was fine. And so he says, let's just try this out. So he gives me this new prescription. And I literally went from 2.5 to 1.5. If any of you who worn glasses, that's huge. That's a pretty big jump. So I take my prescription and I go to Walmart to fill it, and I give it to the technician, and the first thing he says is, he's moving you from 2.5 to 1.5. He says it like he's my friend, like we've been friends all along, and he's so concerned about me. And so I said, okay, maybe I do have a new friend. I said, exactly, that's what I said too. And so he said, wow, that's just big, that's just big. And I said, well, I have 2 pairs of glasses. Do you think I should change the prescription and the other pair of glasses too? And so he pauses. I love the way he pauses, like we've known each other for so long and he wants me to have the best. He goes, I don't think I would do that. And I said, why? He said, you might not like it. And I said, you might be right. He said, it might be too much. It might be too little. You should just wait and see. And I loved that he cared so much about me. But what it really triggered in me is that this was more of a spiritual transformation than a physical. It was showing the outpicturing in my vision, but this was about me being able to see things spiritually and like not needing so much of what's needed in the world, but relying more upon an inner vision, an inner understanding. And so the question I asked myself was, will I be able to accept and understand and discern what's coming forward for me to take hold of, for me to release, for me to take in? And so even though we were talking about physical vision, to me, it took a turn into something much more spiritual. And there were, like I said, I moved from military contractors. And so I moved I moved just from not only my vision, but I was a financial counselor for the military for 15 years. And all of a sudden I became a regional supervisor. And they offered it to me 3 times and I turned it down twice because I couldn't see myself as a regional supervisor. I was a counselor. I'm good at being a counselor. Leave me alone. Quit calling me about this, And so the 3rd time when the lady called, she says to me, and once again, I don't know this lady on that level. I turned it down again and she said, Sonja, God keeps coming to you and you keep sending God away. I said, how dare you talk to me that way? And so I was like, you're not going God on me. And she says, well, I got to do something. And so once again, I don't know her like that. And I was like, and I thought about the optometrist. And I said, I'm being called to step on another level, step into some new understanding and not be so tied to what I knew. The vision has changed. I have to change. We can have all these beliefs, as Bill was just saying. There's a biblical scholar, Robert Tillage, and he says that until a belief becomes a conviction to do something, it's not a belief. It's just an idea rolling around in your head. But if it doesn't make you do anything or be different, then it doesn't count as a belief because it's not making you do anything different. And so I thought about Heraclitus. He was one of the pre-Greek philosophers, and Heraclitus, he was the one that was known for the saying, "The only change is constant." A lot of us don't know that. Heraclitus said, a lot of you probably think your grandmothers made that up. I thought my grandmother made it up, but Heraclitus did that, and that was back in 5 BC. And so what we have here is Heraclitus says, "Don't be like the children of your parents." Ooh, what does that mean? Don't be like the children of your parents. Meaning, in order to have new vision and see things in a new way, we can't be so attached to the idea of where we come from in the world, what we come into, what they taught us. You ever heard the story about the people that would take the turkey or the hen or whatever it was, and they kept cutting off the behind of it and stick it in the pot, and nobody ever asked Mama, "Why do you cut the behind off?" And then because now it's, things evolve, we got bigger pots, and people had bigger pots still cutting off the behind. Grandma cut off the behind because her pot was small. Her pot wasn't big enough. And we were buying bigger pans from Williams and Sonoma and Macy's, and we were still cutting off the behind because that's what she did. And so Heraclitus was saying, stop, assess. No matter what they taught you and what they did, does that make sense for who you are, who we are, and what we're moving into, what our growth is? I thank the Baptist Church because they gave me a lot of good foundational tools. One of the things I love the most is I'm very comfortable with the Bible, but New Thought gave me a greater understanding of what those words meant, what those things meant. And so that's a good part of my spiritual understanding, and the idea that I'm not caught in what I was taught. I learned a phrase that Ernest Holmes coined. Chalmers Troward probably has one of my first favorite phrases. A principle is not bound by precedent. But Ernest Holmes has one I found. We need more backbone and less wishbone. We need more backbone and less wishbone. I love that because a lot of times in New Thought, I think we do a little spiritual malpractice. We forget that it's not enough to just set the vision. You gotta be intentional. You have to go forward. We are examples oftentimes for what other people see in the spiritual walk. And I think some of what we're suffering with now, or why we seem like the churches won't grow and why people won't come, we're not really stepping into that vision of what we've been given and what we understand, because we've read all the books. That's one of the things about most of the New Thought people. Not only have we read all the books, most of us are reading about 3 books at a time. And I don't even know how you do that, but we're pulling it off. But are we really taking those principles and embodying them? So I'm going to bring in a quote from Charles Fillmore as well. In the universal mind principle, when Jesus called the Father, there is a substance that also includes the mother, or seed of all visible substance. It is the only real substance because it is unchangeable. While the visible substance is in constant transition. That reminds me of something I studied when I studied the Upanishads, the idea of the absolute and the relative. The bottom of the sea would represent the absolute, where things appear not to be changing, but the power of the sea is at the bottom of the sea. At the top is where the waves crash and they go back and forth upon each other. And that's the way we are in our daily life. We get fixated on ideas people tell us. They might be downsizing. I might be serving you with papers. You might be getting a foreclosure. These are all the things in the relative, but they have nothing to do with the identity we hold in the absolute. We are still whole beings no matter what happens. And when we take that vision and we hold that vision, then we don't get confused about what we see in our daily living, in our absolute. I don't care what happens in your daily life, wholeness is still wholeness, and it stays wholeness. Now let's get back to the idea of the I. I want to bring in a poem, an essay rather, I studied by Waldo Emerson back from 1841, and the title of it was Circles. And he begins the essay with the idea of the eye. He says the eye is the first circle. What it forms on the horizon is the second circle. And the third circle is what it creates, what it keeps creating every day. Every day. And that goes back to the idea of not being like the children our parents raised. What are we creating every day from our formative foundation years that we're not stopping to reassess? If change is the only constant, then that change also abides within us. So Emerson talks about these three ideas of the circle. And so it got me thinking about what is a circle? What does a circle mean? Because St. Augustine reminded us that God is the center of a circle with no circumference. So that means everything is that God is at the center of everything. And so that made me think of Matthew 6:33, where it says, seek ye first the kingdom and all its righteousness, and all other things will be added unto you. So that means when you get at that center of that circle, that's an attracting statement. If I get at the center of the circle, everything I need comes to me. But most of us do it backwards. We go get all the stuff, and then we get in the center of the circle and go, well, why am I not happy? Why am I not fulfilled? Why is this not working? I spend a lot of time on this and a lot of money on this, not understanding that we get in the center, seek ye first the kingdom, and then magically, and it's not magic because we got to stop saying things like that, but principally, everything just comes to us. And that's where I find it. Now that I just get in the center and stay in the center, things come to me. People come and tell me things. I share ideas with me. And all I did was stand here at the center. And it makes life so much more enriching and less tiresome. And I'm not somewhere trying to figure out how to recover from everything because I'm trying to be, what's that phrase, FOMO, fear of missing out. There is no missing out when you're in the center. Anyway, that brought out the nerd in me. And I was like, well, let's break down what a circle means. We're gonna bring in a little math, not enough to make you mad on Sunday morning or send Bill nasty emails, worship me, but just a little math. So I started thinking about, you got a circle, and so your diameter runs through the middle of the circle. So if the circumference is nowhere, that means the diameter is nowhere. And same with the radius. The radius is from the center of the circle to the end of the circle. So once again, the radius is nowhere. These things go in relation with the circumference. But then I started thinking about, what's a tangent? A tangent is a line that touches 2 points on the circle, and then it goes off in whatever direction it wants to. Now, how many of us have done that? How many of us heard the phrase, they went off on a tangent? I was like, now that makes sense. Meaning, I accept that there's some power in that circle, but I still think I know better. I know more. So I'm gonna read half of a book. I'm gonna go half into my practice, and then I'm going off on my own. I got this thing. And so you go off on a tangent. And you stay there. And because they're not embodying the very idea of what it means. And then let's think about a chord. Yeah, I got deep with all this nerdiness. So a chord comes into the circle, but it won't come into the center of the circle. So it hangs out at the top or it hangs out at the bottom, but it still doesn't come into the full embodiment of the center. So it still doesn't get the idea of it. It's still not living that optimal life, that fulfilled life, that power-filled life. It's still saying, I know more than all there is. And we've all been there, we've all done that, we've all seen other people. If you don't know anybody that did it, then you're probably the one that's always doing it. So you got to keep all that in mind. And then you even think about the arc. The arc gets right in there in the circumference. It sits in the outer part of the circle. But once again, it doesn't come into the circle. It doesn't come into the center of it. And so once again, you can play all these parts, and we can play, because all we're doing is playing ourselves. But until we come into the fullness, and it doesn't matter the denominator, the more I study I've studied the Quran, I've studied Kabbalah, the more I study, the more I see it ain't that difficult, and we're all going in the same direction. We have different rituals we embody, but they all get us to that place of, I think it's Buddhism, moksha, We're just trying to be in that place where we're eternally fed, we're eternally optimal. We are at peace. We are of the absolute. And so we don't need to run. So the idea of the circle, and I'll finish up with this part, the idea of the circle is wholeness. Once I'm whole, I'm always whole. But undivided can also look like wholeness. A circle can be undivided, but when I broke it down, undivided means I'm still missing pieces. It has the appearance of wholeness. Wholeness means there are no missing pieces. There are no missing pieces. So I didn't take all my abandonment issues and then just stick them with my triggered issues, no healing. And then I just stick them together and I look whole, but then I'm walking around bleeding on everybody, and that's no good. But wholeness means I'm always doing my work. What I love about the New Thought teachings is everything we do for ourselves, we help everybody. We help everybody because we create that sacred space for everyone to step into and be who they need to be. So that's why the wholeness doesn't care if, like I said, you get a foreclosure notice or a summons to appear or a default notice or even a divorce notice. You're still whole. You just got to go within and reaffirm, re-edify who you are. But undivided can be a tricky looking thing. It can look one way, but it's not showing the best of you going within and replenishing yourself. I have a friend that I met in an ACIM group. I'm not gonna say her name, but she used to. She was a white woman, and as she grew in her spiritual teaching, she used to hate going back home for Thanksgiving and listening to the homophobic slurs and the gender slurs and all the slurs. And so she said she's sitting there one holiday, and she just couldn't take it anymore, and she hollers out, "Stop it! You're better than that! Stop it!" And she says, and they all just look up and their eyes get big because this has been going on for decades. Like, who are you to tell us? Why are you talking to us like this? But she said something shifted and something changed. And it made her very, very happy. It made her very, very happy. And so what I'm challenging you now is when you run into people, family members, or sometimes yourself, stop it. You're better than that. No one's going to tell you, no, I'm not. I'm not better than that. I'm really worse than that. And I'm telling you now, if they tell you that, run, because that's just scary. That's really, really scary. But this is that when we want to step into that vision, because the thing about the vision changes. Just like the absolute and the relative, things are changing all the time. But what we can take pleasure in and hope in and faith in is that we're better than that. And meditation and prayer pulls us back into it. And things such as you can tell yourself at the store on work, stop it, Sonja. You're better than that. Step into that higher vision. Step into that wholeness. Step into that knowing. And in that way, we're always a walking example for all that ever was, all that will ever be, and all that will be going forward. I thank you for allowing me this time to share with you. And so it is.
Oh, thank you, Hannah. That was beautiful. Oh, thank you. Now we got to figure out a way to have her play underneath the meditation. We'll figure that Zoom out. We'll be golden. It's now my privilege, my honor, my blessing to be able to lead us in a meditation. And this really is a coming together of a whole bunch of stuff. From last week and the weekend before, some of us went to do a gong bath or sound meditation. The podcast this past week was about chakras. I just noticed out of randomly during the announcements, and Dina was showing the website. In the picture of the practitioners, we're all wearing blue shirts. And the talk is about vision. So we're going to bring that all together. We're going to do a little third eye, the Anja chakra meditation. So I invite you to get still, get centered wherever you are, relax. Close your eyes if you're comfortable. Allow them to go to a soft focus. And just relax. I like to sit with my back straight, my feet flat on the floor, my hands in my lap, palms up. And just be here now and relax. We're going to take a series of 3 deep breaths to help relax and center us. We're going to breathe in fully. We're going to hold for a moment, feel a little tension build up in your body, and then we're going to exhale fully. We'll do that 3 times. So inhale deeply. Hold. Feel that tension build, and exhale. How you feel that just tension just wash away and relax. One more deep breath in. Hold. And exhale. And relax even more. Last one, deep breath in. Hold. Hold just a little longer. And exhale. And just allow your breath to find a gentle, even pace, whatever's comfortable for you. Scan your body momentarily for any tension. Maybe your neck or your shoulders. Just allow that to wash away and relax. I invite you to draw your attention to a spot that is slightly above and slightly behind your physical eyes. The Vedas talk about that as the third eye, the Anja chakra, the center of our spiritual vision, our intuition. The color is indigo, just a deep, deep blue. Just allow your focus to center there. What do you see? What is that vision that you have? Is it something new in your life you want to create? Is it something the universe is presenting to you? Is it part of your practice that brings you great joy and you want to sustain? Is it an opening up to something else? You have this sense that something new and wonderful is coming. Just open up to it. There is a root sound associated with that third eye, a vibration. It is the Om. So we're going to exercise our Om. We'll take a deep breath, and on the exhale, audibly, we're each going to Om. And since it's the third eye, we will do that 3 times. And then we'll go into the silence. You're welcome to repeat that if you'd like. But we'll do it together 3 times. When we go into the silence, just see what that Om is opening up. What is that vision for you? Nice deep breath in. Again, deep breath in. Once more, deep breath in.
Spirit, give us a vision. The vision to see not only conditions and effects, the vision to see the cause, causation, situations that disturb us. If they do disturb us, sometimes it is caused by separation. Separation from the divine is being tuned to the infinite intelligence, to pure potentiality, where all things are possible. God told Abraham when he was in his worse in the valley. Lift up your eyes. In other words, lift up your consciousness. In the psalm say, I lift up my eyes up to the hills. From where comes my help? My help comes from the Lord that created the heavens and the earth. So Abraham looked to the east, to the west, to the north, and to the south. Whatever your vision could see that far, which is faith, it is yours. Sometimes our eyes are in conditions and effects, and they don't go to the cause. That's why when we change the way we look at things, the things that we look at will change. The great master said, don't judge by appearance. It's not that we live in an illusion, because we live in the world of reality. But don't just see what you see, because the things that you see are temporary. But the things that you don't see are eternal. We go to the things that we do not see, but the things that we know and we believe is there. That's where spirit is at. With the third eye, looking at the things we don't see, but they there. That's why he told Abraham, I am your shield. The shield is faith. Put our faith in him. In other words, putting our eyes on the author and finisher of our faith, that Christ within. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. Move your shoulders a little. And when you're ready, bring your awareness back to the celebration as Anna played this beautiful song for each one of us.
Spend all your time waiting for that second chance, for a break that would make it okay. There's always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end of the day. I need some distraction. Oh, beautiful release. Memory seeps from my veins. Let me be empty. Oh, and weightless, and maybe I'll find some peace tonight. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you feel. You were pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here. So tired of the straight line, and everywhere you turn There's vultures and thieves at your back. The storm keeps on twisting. You keep on building a lies that you make up for all that you lack. It don't make no difference escaping one last time. It's easier to believe in this sweet madness, all this glorious sadness that brings me to my knees. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark cold hotel room and the endlessness that you feel. You were pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here.
Beautiful. Thank you, Anna and Jesus and Breen. What a great meditation, connecting with our third eye and oming. And Sonja, great. What a talk. That one went all the way around the circumference. Emerson and Heraclitus and Pythagoras and all the rest of them. Thank you so much for that. So this is our opportunity to get in touch with whatever's come up for us. If you had something that came to mind, go ahead and raise your hand. Jesus is demonstrating how you do that. And we get a chance to give voice to whatever's come up for us. Jesus, and then Carolyn, and then Dina.
Oh, we got a few today. Okay, good. If I knew, I wouldn't raise my hand. I would, but it's okay. I got to raise, and I want to say something. Well, thank you, Reverend Bill. Thank you, Anna, for that beautiful music, and thank you, Breen, for bringing all that fruit up. Yes, and Reverend Sonja. Well, I didn't know what to expect. I just kept myself open to see what was it for me. But it was something remarkable because every word that Reverend Sonja was saying, it was just hitting each cell of my body. And I think, I don't know how many I got, like 4 million or something. But I came out like a new person from that talk. I was just taking every word, and every word sounded, it was just hitting my mind back and forth, like taking all that little dust out that was left there. So I appreciate and thank you. It was remarkable. I love that talk. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you.
Yeah, Carolyn.
Reverend Sonja, thank you. It was a wonderful talk. And I'm thinking about like how interconnected all of us are. And I found a little connection here with you. I have met Kennedy Schultz. I've had dealings with Kennedy Schultz. And my very, very, very first religious science minister was Vince Tiefner, who was one of his students. Did you know Vince?
Yes. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Well, we've been blessed. Kennedy was a blessing.
And so was Vince.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Carolyn. Dina.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that the talk and the meditation, everything was really lovely today, but Yesterday, I spent the day on several services for the Rosh Hashanah. And, the theme of Rosh Hashanah is making things new and seeing what is new. And it was just very synchronous. Everything in the talk just really, once again, just brought back to that return of wholeness. And thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you, Dina, and Happy New Year. And geeking out a little bit, I studied the Jewish calendar to find out why it keeps on dancing around, and it's because it dances around. And Sonja, as you were doing the talk, I could tell that Breen and I were both geeking out to chords and arcs and tangents and all the other parts of the geometry, because that's who we are. So thank you so much.
And I just want to add, exactly said that everything came back to geometry. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. So Sandy, who probably was not geeking out to the geometry, but rocked along with it anyhow, do our offertory.
Actually, math was one of my favorite subjects.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah. And Sonja, I wanted to say that, I mirroring what Jesus said, saying it in a little bit different way. I sat here the whole time and it felt like I had been in a stuffy room and somebody opened the window and a cool breeze came in. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank all of you for blessing me. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. Thank you, Bill.
The offering affirmation. New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We're grateful for every way you share. We don't have a basket today, but there's a donate button on the website to make a donation by credit card, PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore. The offering affirmation's on the screen and we'll say it together. I live
in an abundant universe.
I am one with the
abundant
infinite
source
source of
of
all
all
good.
good.
I
am
am
the
center
of conscious
prosperity. I
enjoy the richness of life. I
bless my gift.
I
Share my gift with
gratitude
gratitude
and
and
joy. I
joy.
know that the gift I do
the gift
receive.
I do
And
receive.
so it is.
So it
So it
is.
is.
Oh, it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Anna, one more song.
Rhapsodies might pull me under and dark clouds might dim my days, but there's always bright tomorrows when I close my eyes and say, remember how you've made it through the fire, remember how you've come so far, an unstoppable force of nature, yeah, that's what you are. I know all that I have lost has given me the purpose of conquering my pain through love. I sing this hymn to rise above. I am a mountain, and down in the valley below, it's all that I've overcome, all that I've overcome. Whoa, I am a mountain, and down in the valley below, it's all that I've overcome, all that I've overcome. I'm a fighter, it's like I was born to be wild. Whatever life might throw, I'll pass the test. Whatever fate might dream upon me next, I'll stand with my head to the sky, unshaken by thunder and winds and the tide. I'm not all that I have lost has given me the purpose of conquering my pain through love. I sing this hymn to rise above. I am a mountain, and down in the valley below, it's all that I've overcome, all that I've overcome. Whoa, I am a mountain, and down in the valley below, it's all that I've overcome, all that I've overcome. Overcome. like I was born to be one. I am a mountain, and down in the valley belongs all that I've overcome, all that I've overcome. Oh, I am a mountain, and down in the valley belongs all that I've overcome, all that I've overcome. I'm a fighter, it's like I was born to be one. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sonja, and everybody who made the celebration so spectacular. What a great way to end the summer season of Sundays at New Thought Philadelphia. So thank you all so much for being here. Let us close with a cacophony. And actually, afterwards, you can stick around. We're going to talk about prosperity and the tithing challenge if you feel like doing that. But go ahead and unmute your microphone and repeat after me. I am love.
I am
I am
love.
love.
I am light.
I am
I am
light.
light.
I overcome.
I
I
overcome.
overcome.
My love flows.
My love
My love
flows.
flows.
My light shines.
My light
My
shines.
light
And so it
shines.
is.
So it is.
So it is.
Woo.
Woo.
Oh, Sonja, thank you so much. That was great.
Thank you. You all, the music, the meditation bring, I enjoy everything. Thank you. Jesus, the beautiful prayers. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And Claudia, one more time. Good to have you back. All right. So I guess we're doing our post-celebration chat about prosperity and the tithing challenge. It's labeled as Q&A. So does anybody have a Q? Because you could just invite me to talk about the tithing challenge, but asking a minister to just talk, that's like, that could go forever. Pack a lunch.
Can you talk about what the thing on Tuesday is going to be and like how long and that kind of thing?
I'm imagining it'll be about a half an hour. But we'll go longer if anybody wants to stick around. But it's mostly a discussion of prosperity principles, because prosperity is not about giving and taking or being transactional. It's about being in the flow. It's like when we go to the river and we put our boat into the river, we're not trying to make a transaction. Well, okay, river, if I put my boat in here, will you carry me down the stream? It's like, that's the way the river works. So we can stand there looking at it and trying to figure it out and trying to understand it. And until we actually get in, we're not going to have that experience of what it's like either to move downstream easily or grab our paddle and move upstream with some energy, but getting ourselves into that flow and allowing ourselves to be supported and carried. So to me, that's prosperity. And there are probably millions of other ways to explain or characterize that. So yeah, it's sort of the bigger picture about what prosperity principles are entirely. So we've done a bunch of prosperity classes. I love Eric Butterworth, Spiritual Economics. He talks about a whole bunch of wonderful perspectives on prosperity. And Charles Fillmore does as well. And Ernest Holmes has a few nice things to say. And there are lots of different ways to identify prosperity principles and to connect with it. Just having a conversation with somebody yesterday. I think there's a line in Spiritual Economics where it references a gravestone in Boston Common that says, "Here lies such and such who cobbled shoes to the glory of God for 47 years." And being able to bring ourselves and our spiritual awareness, whatever it is we're doing, puts us in the flow of prosperity. And then it's not just about getting paid for what we're doing. It's about being in that flow and being in that presence, sharing our gifts and being supported. Carolyn?
Very simple question. Tuesday for 30 minutes, what time?
7 o'clock.
Okay. 6
7
for me.
o'clock. Yeah.
Okay. got
6
it.
for you. Yeah.
Yep.
Eastern time.
7 Eastern. Yes. Sorry. And I could translate it into London time if we wanted to do that. And
Well, I learned how to do that all by myself.
that's nice. That's nice. London changes daylight savings time at different schedule than we do. And Phoenix doesn't change at all, which makes them different. So these little things that you learn when you work nationally and internationally. Any other questions about the tithing challenge?
So, hi, Reverend Bill. This is Divya. Long time. How are you?
It has been a while, Divya. It's good to have you back.
Thank you. So, are you saying that we have to join every evening at 7 o'clock? That's what you're saying?
No, we're just the way that the tithing challenge works is basically you just commit to it. And you can do that by clicking the link on the website. We also have a form. You can download the form and sign it and make it really official and send it in if you want. When we're in person, you can fill one of those out by hand. But it's actually much more about consciousness, about setting the intention to join the tithing challenge and let us know that you're doing that. And then what happens is during the tithing challenge, you can take part in the prosperity discussions. It's going to be an ongoing process because as people go through an increase in their tithing practice and open themselves up to prosperity, there sometimes can be some fear. And there also can be wonderful stories of prosperity. Well, as soon as I started giving away 10% of my income, this great thing showed up in my life. And now 10% of my income is much less of an impact than it used to be because my income doubled. So even though the 10% is more, I still get to keep more. Stories like that are happening, or the wonderful tangential little things about, I thought I was going to have to get my transmission repaired, but it turns out that it was recalled. So the manufacturer gave me a new transmission. So things like that start happening. And so the conversations we have ongoing are about those sorts of things and also about the challenges and fears that we're having. But for the mechanics of it, there is not a requirement that anybody tithe to New Thought Philadelphia. I mean, the idea in a tithing practice is to give to the source of your spiritual nourishment. With the 90-day money-back guarantee, what we're doing is we are kind of like the dad who runs along behind the kid who's riding a two-wheeler for the first time, making sure that they don't fall over to give them that sense of security. So the tithing guarantee is that if somebody does this for 90 days and they don't think that they've gotten a transformation in their life, we'll take care of that. We'll give them back the money. And that's only money that they've donated to New Thought Philadelphia because we can't keep track of what you're tithing to somebody else. But we have a very talented bookkeeper who can keep track of what's come in during the tithing challenge. So we can do that. And our friend Michelle Whittington, who did this at Creative Living Fellowship in Phoenix for decades, in all the time that she did that, I think they only gave money back to somebody once. It was somebody who wasn't particularly invested in the practice, and it was the right thing to do. I think she referred to it as unhappy money. So
I have a question for you, Bill.
Sure.
How are we going to be meeting twice a month at the Falzer Club, or has that been put on hold forever?
We are waiting for the appropriate moment when there are enough people showing up at the Falzer Club that we say we want to do this twice a month. And I'm waiting for a consensus from the group. That's not a Bill decision. That's a group that's getting together at the Falzer Club decision.
Okay.
So tell your friends, come to the Falzer Club.
Okay.
Big show of bravado. Oh, there's too many people here. Wow, we can't fit them all on a Zoom. Let's put them in Falzer. You can do that because there's plenty of room at the Falzer Club.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is. Cool. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, and I do. It feels completely different getting together in person than it does on Zoom. And Zoom is really cool because if we're doing this in person, then Anna's not going to be there to do our music, except on a very special occasion when she's going to fly in from London.
Ooh.
Sonja, you may or may not jet in from Alabama.
I could do it. I've been traveling. I could get there.
Okay. It's a bigger deal. It's a
Yeah.
bigger deal. This time you just have to get up an hour earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah. And the tithing challenge is not about taking the power away from tithing, because tithing is a spiritual practice. It's just about overcoming that human resistance. To quote Breen Rourke, who started tithing when he didn't have enough money to pay the bills, nothing got worse.
Cool.
Questions?
All right, I'm going to drop.
Okay. And I'm intentionally not inviting people to share their prosperity stories that have come about from tithing, because this is supposed to be a short Q&A period. And those tend to go for a while. But we will have an opportunity to talk some more.
Beautiful.
Did you, Michelle? Yeah.
See you guys later.
Hannah?
Yeah. I was gonna ask real quick, you listed a bunch of books before when Breen did his talk. Like what's one of your favorites of the like?
I love Spiritual Economics. Spiritual Economics is awesome, by Eric Butterworth.
Yeah.
It is a very easy to read book. He is very clear, and there's lots of little pithy sayings in there.
There's another great book that's not easy to read, but it's Prosperity by Charles Fillmore.
Oh yeah. By the time you finish reading Prosperity by Charles Fillmore, you are steeped in prosperity principles.
Sometimes you got to read the same page 3 times.
Yeah, that too. That part.
Yeah, it's a good book to study.
Yes. Fillmore's deep.
Yeah. I think some of that came from his study of the East. But you're right, Fillmore's deep. But yeah, Holmes was too, though. They all were.
And Think and Grow Rich is a good book that's kind of examples of people who demonstrated prosperity principles. It's not 100%, I would say, a spiritual book. It's Napoleon Hill. But basically what he did is he went around and interviewed a bunch of people who were very prosperous and identified what they had in common. And that's exactly what prosperity principles are. As you can tell, Sonja is a big fan of this.
Yes, I am. And the idea that, well, not the idea, the reminder that prosperity is far more than just money. Good health, good relations, good thinking. Just because I think in this culture, with some mainstream groups coming into it, it's become very money centered. So
Yeah.
remember that.
And some people point to the whole New Thought philosophy and say it's a get-rich-quick scheme, and it's not. That's a side effect of it, but it's not the idea of it. And the prosperity, you get somebody who's fabulously wealthy, but their health is frail. They don't care about the money. They get.
I think Steve Jobs was a good example of that. In his final days, reflecting on things he wish he'd paid more attention to, and it wasn't the money.
Yep. Yeah, wound up with plenty of that. But yeah, and people who have their health and have money but don't have a relationship, don't feel love in their life, or are estranged from their kids. It's about something different.
Yeah. And I also wanted to share Oprah. You remember when the stock market hit and crashed in 2008, and even the billionaires' net worth went down. Everybody's net worth went down. And I remember reading what Oprah said. She never stopped her giving. She kept her giving on the same level. It had always been pre-market crash. And when the list came out in Forbes, maybe a year or two later, her billions had increased. She had gone from 1 to 3 when everybody else had just plummeted. But she never moved from the principle of her giving, even though her money was going down. So I was like, that's a prosperity principle.
Mm-hmm. Definitely is. Definitely is. All right.
So, Reverend Bill, can you explain what is this 90-day challenge? What do we have to do?
Sure. It's the details are on the website. Basically, it is to encourage people to give the spiritual practice of tithing a try. And so the idea is when you commit to the program, you say, I'm going to give 10% of my gross income to the source of my spiritual nourishment. And for the 90 days, that's going to be New Thought Philadelphia, just because we're the one who's supporting the challenge. And you make those donations through the regular ways that you do. We know that you're in the program, and we keep track of that. And then you get to attend or participate in as much of the support program that we have during the challenge as you'd like to. And at the end of 90 days, if you think that you have not had a suitable increase in the level of goodness that's in your life, it could be financial, it could be emotional, it could be in whatever way that you're defining it. Because when we get in the flow of our prosperity, the whole tide lifts and everything gets better. So if you find that it has not paid off, and that was not a good use of your money, then let us know, and we'll give them the tithe money back.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the way it works. So if you want to take part, just identify, say, "Yep, I'm in," and take part in the program, and then we'll talk. Sometime, usually well before the end of 90 days. It's like, oh my God, this is working so dramatically. Somebody gave me a car.
All right, now I really am going to drop. I said that 10 minutes ago, but
you did
this time.
You guys have a wonderful Sunday afternoon. Enjoy the last weekend of summer.
Yay.
Sonja, thank you again. Claudia, wonderful to see you. Divya, come back anytime. It's wonderful to see you. And you as well, Anna.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week.
Hey, Kathy.